Okay, very good evening. It's 9 p.m. Pacific time. This is Carol, Killer Pop for Mike Delta, your net control operator for the River City Arc Slow Scan TV net. This net serves for training and practice in image transmission modes and meets Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Pacific time. On the N6NA repeater on 441.30 megahertz in Sacramento, and also on our River City Arcs YouTube channel. River City Arcs members and all licensed amateurs are welcome to participate. If you wish to join the net or need to make a call at any time, please announce your call sign between transmissions and net control will acknowledge you. If an emergency should arise and you need the repeater, please contact the net control by saying break break. The double break signifies emergency traffic. The net will stand by for you until the emergency is terminated or the traffic is moved to another frequency. Stations who wish to check in are asked to respond with the full call sign using the recognized ITU phonetic alphabet and their name. I will recognize each station before I continue. Any station who wishes to check into the net, please come now.
N6YG. November 6 Hotel Alpha. November Golf, Quebec.
Okay, so far number 1 is November 6 Yankee Golf, number 2 is November 6 Hotel Alpha, number 3 is November 6 Papa Golf, Quebec. Any other check-ins? Okay, nothing heard, so I'll be number 4, Killer Pop for Mike Delta. We'll go right to the top of the list. And N6YG, George, do you have a picture ready? And if so, please go ahead and transmit over.
Let me make sure I have the microphone here. And I think I have one. I can drop on here. Sorry, I had to get MMS TV up and running for some reason. Windows pulled its normal garbage that it pulls and lost all the ports. So I spent the last 20 minutes trying to get Windows up and running again.
Yeah, we on live chat we have Frank, Whiskey 6 November Yankee X-Ray, says hello to all.
Yes, no audio, right?
Oh no, it was nice and loud. You were ready. You were going good.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. Well, do that again then. Let me start over.
Okay, thank you for that picture, George. Let's go right down to Bill. N6HA, how did you copy that? And any comments? Over.
Yeah, an okay copy here. Actually, a large amount of pixel pops for George. I did change some things around with my antenna setup and ran some new coax, so it might be me. But I see a fair amount on Carol's copy on YouTube also. So it's worse on mine though. So I need to probably adjust things a little more. But yeah, this looks like a oscilloscope. I think I see three traces, no, maybe two traces. It looks like you're debugging some type of logic level chip, maybe. I think I know what this might be, but I don't want to give it away. So, but yeah, it looks fun. I like how you can take screenshots directly from the oscilloscope. That's pretty cool. Mine's not that fancy. I don't think I've never played with it like that. So yeah, I wonder. I think I know what you're working on. So I'll leave it to others to guess. N6HA.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Bob? N6PGQ, how did you copy that, and any comments? Over.
Well, I copied it pretty well. There were a few pixel pops, but not excessive. I can read SIGLint and see three traces and some horizontal lines at the bottom, but I'm not a modern scope user, so someone's going to have to explain it. Good quality. Be interested to see what George is measuring, N6PGQ.
Okay, George, please explain the picture. Over.
I'm getting a lot of pops tonight. APOS is strong. Yeah, this is. Let me turn the. I'm just like out of it today. Turn the monitor down. I can't handle the monitor screaming at me as I'm talking. That little tiny bit of delay annoys me. Yeah, okay, so this is just a SIGLint oscilloscope. What I'm doing is I'm debugging, not debugging, I was taking a quick look at the output from a little $12 GPS module. So this is a NEMA 183 serial transmission from a GPS unit. And there's only one trace here. The top trace is, those are the packets that are coming down. Yeah, 8 and 1. So that's one packet, 8 bits, N and 1. No stop parity and all that garbage. Anyways, 9600 baud. And then the bottom trace is where I'm zoomed in at. So if you look at the top, that's gray, you see a little blue arrow pointing down. And so that's the arrow. That's the area that we're focused on. I've actually moved over just a little bit. That just little tiny bit is expanded on the bottom screen. So this is a TTL level signal, and that's what I was trying to verify because the documentation isn't really good. So I wasn't sure if the module put out an RS-232 level, which would be plus 6 volts is 1 bit. And then minus 6 volts is 0. So you have zeros and ones, minus 6 volts is 0, plus 6 volts is 1 bit. On TTL, 0 bit is 0 volts, and 1 bit is 3.3 volts. So this is TTL level. And I need to convert this to RS-232 level with a level converter. What I'm doing is I'm building a little Bluetooth reset. I'm building a Bluetooth module for the Kenwood D7 handheld. It has a built-in TNC that you can hook up to a computer and I don't want to mess with the cable, so I'm making a Bluetooth module that'll plug right into the side of the radio and send the GPS. Wait, I lost my train of thought there. Actually, that was for programming. This module is going to plug directly into the side of the radio, so it has GPS capability. It's also going to have another module in it that gives it a serial connection over Bluetooth to the radio, so there's no wire being connected to the radio, so it'll have Bluetooth. You'll be able to program it remotely and so on. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, I think it does. Does anybody have any questions about this before we move to our next picture? Okay, nothing heard, but a really nice, sharp picture there of a oscilloscope capture there. Thank you very much for sharing that, George. Next, we'll go over to Bill, N6HA, see what you have to send over.
Yeah, Roger, let me see if I have a tone.
Yes, nice and loud. Go ahead.
Good, I'm glad I fixed the issue from last week. This is going to be PD 120 N6HA.
Okay, this is KP4MD. I'm sure George could figure this one out. Over to you, N6YG. What do you think of this picture, KP4MD?
It came over excellent. Came over excellent. I know exactly what this is. I don't know if I should give it away. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive this is an advanced research receiver preamp. They make several different models. One is receive only, and I think this is like maybe the 100-watt mass-mounted version that has TR switching in it. The dead giveaway of advanced receiver research design is you look at the top of it, and those two wires coming up to the top, there's a ground lug and a power lug. The one towards the right looks like an old glow plug from the model airplanes, and the center pin is just an insulated center pin. That's the positive feed wire. So yeah, I like their equipment. Nice picture, N6YG.
Okay, thank you. How about you, Bob? How did you copy this picture over?
copied it real well. Not very many pixel pops. A lot of discrete components. A couple BNC connectors, it looks like, on the left and right side at the top. I'm not going to hazard a guess as to what product it is, but I think George has it. Good quality in 6PGQ.
Okay, and K6AGW, Alan is monitoring also on live chat, following along. Yeah, I could see, yeah, where the power lead is coming through in the top of the box here, looks like that's a feed-through capacitor, and it looks like it's going through a diode. It's got a blue band on it, going off to the right of that feed-through. And I don't know if there's some other connection, it's hard to say. But just to the left of that feed-through is a trimmer capacitor and a air core inductor with about 6 turns. I see a toggle switch on the bottom. That'd be kind of strange if that's an outdoor mounted, mass mounted thing, having an exposed toggle switch and an LED like that poking through the bottom side. And then I guess the plastic encased tube squares there might be relays. So yeah, if it's a mass mounted preamp, it would have relays in there to bypass the amplifier when you're transmitting. So I'm guessing that might be what's going on here. I really have no idea what this is. So over to you, Bill, and tell us please a little bit more about this KP4MD.
Yeah, great guesses. You guys got it exactly. This is an advanced receiver research preamplifier with an RF sense that can handle supposedly up to 100 watts. It is unfortunately not working. I picked it up at the Lincoln Ham Fest, knowing most likely someone might have blown it up. It's quite the gamble with these preamplifiers. I didn't know at the time that it had an RF sense, so with a lot of these, if you put any amount of power through it, it would just blow up. So I've played with it a little bit, and I've traced the signal in, and I did a signal generator and tried to trace it in. And sadly, the main chip that amplifies it, it's a gas FET. It's an MGF 1302. It is most likely blown up. So I can't source the part. I found some clones on some various websites, so I might give it a shot and throw down, I think it's about $13 to try to buy a FET replacement. So that'll be a fun project. If this actually RF senses, this will be great for my satellite setup. So, but I think I agree with you, Carol. There's no way that this is waterproof. So I'll probably put it in a box and see how well it does. But that's it. N6HA, back to that.
Comment.
Okay, yeah, go ahead, comment please.
Yeah, the gas FET is right underneath the coil, with little 4 leads on it. They used to have Advanced Receiver Research used to have a flat rate repair fee for these. I think it was like $30, and you'd send it back to them, and they'd rebuild them for you for $35 or whatever it was, and tune them up and ship them back to you. I don't know if they're still doing that. And they had an external case for these that these would go in, so you obviously didn't get that. So just find yourself an old cable box. You know, those green cable boxes the cable companies used to mount on the sides of the houses. Those work great. So with that, back to net, N6YG.
Yeah, it's KP4MD. I have a Mirage 150 watt amplifier for 2 meters, and it's supposed to have a receive preamp, and it also a gas FET, and very often these gas FETs blow, and it just has to do with bad timing on the relay. There's RF going through there before it switches out from the receive side, and so that function really doesn't work on that anymore. I just use it straight through without. There's a switch for putting the preamp in and out, and from what I've read, it's a very, very common thing for these gas FETs to go on the Mirage amplifiers. So it's just a comment from my side here. I don't really need that amplifier anyway. I have good enough sensitivity on my transverter. Okay, let's take a standby. Do we have any other stations want to join us on the Slow Scan TV Net? This is KP for MD. Okay, nothing heard. I'll send a picture now, and just want to let you know I'll be at PacificCon this weekend. I hope to catch some good still shots to share on the next net. So here I go. This will be PD120. Okay, over to you, George. How did you copy this, and what do you think of this picture? N6YG KP for MD.
All right, let's take a look here. Came down. Well, I got a good copy of that came out real well. Almost no pixel pops. Considering how bad pause is hitting me today, that's amazing. I'm just getting destroyed by them. So what are we looking at here? I see a breadboard off to the side with a couple little modules, and oh yeah, a little LCD on that screen. I think I recognize that. That's those little Arduino screens. So you got something breadboarded up here. Are those two separate No, they're not, because the wires are going between them. So. You got a point geometer and a frequency. Looks like 7. No, I can't really see what frequency it is. Like if it's a frequency, it's in 40 meters. 030. Inductors. So yeah, I'll pass it on to the next person.
Okay, over to you, Bill. How did you copy this, and what do you make of it? N6HA KP for MD.
Yeah, that looks like the Tuna 10S on the left-hand side. I wasn't part of the club when you guys originally built those, but I recognize pictures of it. And I see that on the right there you have a breadboard with an SI5351 and another breadboard that looks homebrewed. Yeah, there's a zoomed picture of it on the top right, and I know what this is because I'm part of the DIY radio group, Groups IO. So I guess I could give it away. That's your
your amplifier to get this up to 5 watts, I believe. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like how the tight construction of that too, so you don't have much loss in it. And yeah, that looks like a custom board. I wonder if you developed this board just for it, or if it's just a proto board you use for various things. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I want to see how your results worked with it. So yeah, N6NA, back to that.
Okay, thank you, Bill. How about you, Bob? N6PGQ, how did you copy this? Over?
Well, the copy came through real well. Few pixel pops in the upper right-hand printed circuit board. It looks like the frequency display says 7030.000, and it's going to be interesting to see what you're measuring in 6PGQ.
Okay, thank you. And Bill, of course, if you've been following the DIY radio, I've posted these pictures there before. This is the Tuna TNS. That's the little QRP transmitter that our group put together back in 2021 already. It's been 3 years ago. You could see the transmit board on the left side. It's got the Arduino Nano microcontroller in there. The little LED OLED frequency display is reading 7030. Now the socket that the frequency synthesized module is plugged into normally, the SI5351, the module out of there, and what I have is these jumpers, 4 jumpers going in there, and actually it's 5 little jumper leads going over to the breadboard on the right. And I've got the SI5351 stuck on the top side of the breadboard, and on the bottom side of the breadboard is this little MOSFET gate driver circuit, which the inset in the upper right hand corner is a close-up view of that, and it's the size of the circuitry is stuffed into 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. It's that compact. It's got 3 garden variety transistors, 2N2222, 2N2222, and a 2N2907, 2 resistors, a capacitor, and a little trimmer potentiometer. And that little green board that I wired, I had to do that with a microscope with a loop. It was so close because each of those pads is 1/10 of an inch apart. So we have to solder them in there and make sure they don't short out from one to the other. That little board raises the power of the transmitter from only 1/2 watt, which was the original circuit, raised it up. Now I got 7 watts going out on 7 megahertz, and it's a I don't know, the cost of those components is maybe $2 tops, so it makes a big difference. And it raises the power by over 10 dB. Well, definitely from what was it? Did I say 1/2 of a watt? Yeah, 10 dB with 5 watts. It's beyond that. It's up to 7 watts actually, and just using a 12-volt wall wart as a power supply. So doing some refinements on this, and actually I'm going to try to stick this little board in an empty space on the board there, so that it'll be all self-contained without having the jumpers. The little potentiometer on that green board is pretty good too, because you can, if you don't want to run the full 5 or 7 watts, you can crank it down and use 1/2 watt or so. So it's like a variable power control. It's pretty nifty little circuit. Bill, since you're following, you know all about it. Anyway, any questions about this before we go on? KP for MD. Okay, well, I could say there's been one or two other people in the club that didn't get onto the original build of this transmitter, so it's possible we're going to do another project similar to this, or maybe the same board with the enhancement to get the full power. And when we did this project, there was just a handful of parts and a custom-made PC board that we ordered for the group. And the cost of the project came to like $25. It was certainly very well worth it for the experience of putting something like this together yourself and getting an operating transmitter. So let's see. Any other? See, we all gone all the way down the list here, and see what time is it now. It's only half an hour. If anybody has another picture they would like to send, they're certainly welcome to do that now. KP4MD.
This is N6PGQ. I haven't sent you a picture yet, Carol.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. Absolutely. Well, you know what's happening. I'm writing with a pencil on a dinner napkin, paper dinner napkin, and I could hardly read my writing. So you go ahead, Bob, and please accept my sincere apologies. N6PGQ, this is KP4MD. Go ahead.
Okay, this is PD120, N6PGQ.
Yeah, okay. N6PGQ, KP4MD, I am so glad you called my attention that I had missed calling you because this is an excellent picture. It inspires me so much. I could see the table, just about a half a dozen pixel pops, but they're really hardly noticeable. Two code practice oscillators, one of the Morse code worksheets that the young man is very intently working on, a bottle of Kirkland water, and what I'm looking at there in the background, it looks like the facade of the cafeteria building on the campus of Sierra College, I'm pretty sure. So let's go over to George, N6YG. How did you copy that, and any comments on it? Over.
It actually came over real well. I have a very good copy, very few pixel pops. This is a great image. very interesting.
Okay, over to you, Bill, N6HA, your comments on the picture.
Yeah, this is the Maker Fair. Yeah, it was nice seeing you there, Bob. I came and visited the booth with the family. Always have a good time at the Maker Fair. And yeah, you guys were doing Morse code as you do normally, and having the kids send their name and other things, which was always really fun. So yeah, there's quite a turnout of hams. There's a front and a back of a couple. I think there's 6 tables maybe total. It was quite the showing of ham radio. Very interesting, though, there was a group of young kids that had their own booth adjacent to the ham radio booth, and they were the ham radio things. They had a weather balloon that they had deployed. They're using arrow antennas to track things, and I guess their teacher is a ham radio enthusiast, and some of the kids are actually licensed and never got on the radio, so yeah, it was kind of interesting to meet them. I was like, what are you guys doing? So that was my favorite booth besides the ham radio one, of course. So yeah, it's a great copy photo, though. Very few pixel pops, probably the best of the evening. And 6HA back to that.
Okay, over to you there, Bob, N6PGQ. Tell us about this picture, please.
Well, the young man's name is Roland. If you can see the picture pretty well, you can definitely see the R and the O as he's filling them out. Really bright young man. Caught on real quickly, and his fist was good. So hopefully in the future he'll become a future ham. Yeah, this was at the Maker Fair in Rockland, as everybody mentioned, and had a good time. Quite a few kids came by, and just to mention, we had 4 hams that were at the booth and booth next door, and they made their first HF contact at our booth. So it was kind of a fun day, and looking forward to doing it again. N6PGQ.
Okay, thank you. Yes, by the way, that booth that was next to ours, I think it was, perfectly placed right next to ours. I don't know if that was done intentionally, but that was the Laguna Creek High School Amateur Radio Club group. Their initials of their activity is called GETA, which I think is Green Energy Technology Academy. And yep, they. I actually went and visited their facility. I think it was last year, and talked with the teacher there and met with some of the students, and saw what they're planning to do, and some of the stuff they have accomplished. It was quite impressive, and I'm glad. Yeah, a number of them got licenses. Quite a few of them. They had a volunteer exam or go over, give them a little ham cram course and an exam, and a whole bunch of them got licensed. But I don't think really very many of them have been on the air, so it was a great opportunity for them to do that. And I got a question for you, Bill, since you went with the family, and I've been telling people that the Maker Fair is a great event for a family because they've got all kinds of stuff other than, just radios. They've got arts and crafts and robotics and 3D printing, and I don't know if they had the trebuchets there this year or anything, but maybe could you tell us a little bit more about what you saw and how your family really did enjoy different aspects of the Maker Fair, Bill, if you would, over.
Oh yeah, sure. We try to go every year. My daughter is young. She's not 2 yet. She's almost 2. So it's kind of interesting to see as we keep going, the more things she can actually interact and play with. So yeah, the exhibit she really enjoyed this year. There was a magician there that did bubbles. He was over there outside doing a bubble show for the kids and had a couple buckets set up for them to make their own buckets. These giant bubbles that they had. He was using rope to do it. There's a battle bot exhibit. Usually, the students, they build robots, small battle bots. They're probably the size of your hand, if not smaller, and they fight them in a little ring of plexiglass, so you could no one gets hurt. So it's a fun thing to watch. Also, there's a lot of different arts and crafts, and the ham radio people are always there. They have music, and sometimes there's food even. So it's a fun time. It's nice to go out for afternoon and go with friends, and then afterwards maybe get some lunch. So yeah, I think everyone should go. So that's it. N6AJ back to net.
Okay, so they didn't have the food trucks like they had in years past. Over.
They had a couple food trucks, yeah, you're right. It's a little expensive, though, so we always eat out afterwards. I was really hoping to find somebody selling kettle corn. That's usually my go-to for these kinds of events. But they did have somebody selling freeze-dried candy, like Skittles and M&Ms. That was fun. I had to buy a couple of those. So, yeah, those food trucks. But, yeah, it's a good time. The amount of vendors this year is about the same as last year, if you ask me. And there's actually less of a crowd, so I enjoyed it as a patron. But I was hoping to see more people, too. N6AJ.
Okay, this is KP4MD. Well, the last one that we had before the pandemic, back in 2019, it was reported 8,000 people have showed up, and that was really, really full. I think that it's just taking a little bit more time to bounce back to the same amount of interest. But from what I saw, the number of exhibitors that were listed on the website compared to last year was almost like double. A good number of them were indoors. So perhaps that's why you did. From what I'm seeing, though, looking from the pictures that were shared with me, there was a pretty decent attendance there. Um, So Bob, N6PGQ, I know you were there working that booth. Did you get a chance to get up and look at any other parts of the fair while you were there, Bob, N6PGQ, KP4MD?
No, I stayed at our booth the whole time. Would like to have gone around next year if we have a couple other people that will demonstrate Morse code, or Neil doesn't go on another cruise. I'll do some wandering around, but I stayed pretty close to home this time. N6PGQ.
Yeah, that's one of the downsides. But we actually had a total of 9. Yeah, we had 9 volunteers altogether, but they weren't evenly divided among all of the 4 canopies that we had there, of course. Anyhow, thank you very much. I appreciate the time that you did put in over there, and I'm sure you brought a lot of happiness to people to stop by, like this young man that you did in the picture there. Any other comments on the Maker Faire or this picture or anything else? Oh, we got a comment here on the live chat from Frank. W6NYX, good show. See you next time. Very good. Thank you very much, Frank. So any other comments, or does anyone have another picture to share? KP4MD.
Yeah, I think I have another one I can send out.
Okay, yeah, go right ahead there, please, George. And the show is not yet over. So over to you. N6 YG is KP4MD.
Your image with the tight components kind of prompted this, so I'm going to go ahead and send this picture real quick. N6YG.
Okay, this is more of a wide-angled shot of that oscilloscope, and I see what looks like possibly a soldering iron just to the left of your oscilloscope, power supply in the corner, and it looks like a hot air machine to the left of that. And I don't know, some little boards, looks like maybe a circuit board in front of the scope on that little table. So, what do you say there? Uh, let's see, Bill. N6HA, how'd you get the picture, and what are your comments over?
Yeah, great copy here. Seems like they turned down paid pause, so we're doing better. The ID got you about a fourth of the way down. But I agree with Carol. It looks like a similar further picture back from the oscilloscope you showed us before. I see a hot air workstation set to, I think that's 425 degrees, probably Celsius. It's pretty hot. And there's a soldering station in the back. I think it's a variable power supply. I think I read it at 12.7 or 12.3. It's hard to say. There's a green bar on the bottom right. I can't figure out what that is. So yeah, I don't see the components though that you're testing. So this is supposed to be your soldering corner, which I need one of these. I do it on my main bench, and I make a mess. So I'm interested. What all's here? Did I get it right? N6HA back to net.
Okay, thank you. We have another comment from the audience. Salty Boy Review says, "I want that scope." There you go, George. You got somebody salivating over your oscilloscope. Over to you, Bob, N6PGQ. How did you copy that, and what are your comments over?
Well, except for the ID that kind of took out the picture about a quarter of the way down, I'm kind of jealous. There are horizontal surfaces without stuff on them. There's a scope and a desoldering station and a soldering iron, and I don't know what the 4 colored switches are below the solder station. Might be controls, I don't know. It'd be interesting to find out. Good quality, very, very few pixel pops in 6PGQ.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your feedback, and over to you, George, and please help relieve the suspense we have. Tell us about the picture, over.
Well, I snapped that this evening, sent it to my son because he wanted to see what I was doing. And you should see the table. Talk about no horizontal surfaces. It took me a few minutes to clear that off. About 5 minutes before this picture was taken, there were jumper leads all over the place. In fact, I was so annoyed with it that Barb was out shopping. I sent her to Harbor Freight and Tools to give me another one of those yellow toolboxes with all the pull-out storage containers, and I cleaned it off and organized all my, those little jumpers you use for like Arduinos and things like that, or for you can use them for breadboarding. I cleaned them all up, sorted them all by length, and whether they were male or male female, and so I got those off there. And what you're looking at here, of course, is the scope. That's a Weller WTHA-1N hot air rework station that Weller sent me to do a review on. So I did a review for them on that, and I got to keep it. Same with the oscilloscope. That was sent to me for to do a review on as well. And and I got to keep that as well. What you're looking at is in the bottom with the red buttons, little flat buttons. That's an old school. Well, it's not old school, but it's a multi-mode battery charger. It charges everything from nickel metal hydrides to Lifey PO4s, and so that's out because I was doing some testing. I use it to charge the Kenwood up. I wanted to measure it. It'll measure capacity, so I wanted to measure the capacity of the battery pack on the Kenwood. And a company that manufactures battery packs for tools sent me a couple of battery packs for Craftsman drills and things like that to do a review on. So I tore them apart tonight to look at the inside and took some pictures of them, and then I used this device there to charge them up, and so charge them and discharge them 5 times to measure the capacity of them, see if they're being honest with their 6 amp hour capacity rating and stuff like that. So, but this is the workstation I'm currently using to play in this hobby. So, yeah, with that, back to Net N6YG.
Thank you very much. Any other comments or questions about this picture before we continue? Yeah, by the way, George, I did have a question. There's a new ham, pretty new ham that picked up a used radio. It was a Yaesu FT101ZD, 1980s vintage HF radio. And he has no idea if it's working or not. So he brought it over here. We did a smoke test. We plugged it in, and we tested it. It actually transmits. It puts out like about 25 watts on 40 meters. We went up to 10 meters. It puts out about 5 watts. All of the lights light up. All of the digits light up. It's got a digital readout on the VFO, but no sound out of the speaker and no movement of the S meter on receive. This is a sick radio, and I was wondering if you know anybody who might consider doing a diagnosis on it, seeing if it's possible to resurrect it. What do you think? Over.
Yeah, it's possible to resurrect that. There's a lot of people out there that actually, I don't want to say specialize on it, but that's their favorite thing to do in the hobby. So yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. When they were testing it with audio, was it they just using a regular microphone, or were they trying to inject audio directly into the microphone connector?
No, we didn't even have a microphone. That was just strictly CW. So I have no idea if it's going to have any voice modulation either. Over.
Okay, yeah, I don't have enough room on my bench to work on something like this right now. I'm barely being able to handle the microcontroller stuff.
Okay, well, we'll put some feelers around. I know there's that fellow Jeff up at CompuDigital in Rockland. He has a shop there where he actually works on Kenwoods, and I don't know if he would try to tackle a Yaesu, but that's another possible option. We'll have to see if this new ham wants to invest anything further into trying to get this thing to work. I just feel really sorry for him. He never bought a radio before, and he bought this thing, and it's already a problem. Over.
Comment?
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Comment.
Yeah, those older radios, the transmit-receive relays sometimes give out. I had an old Collins, and the transmit-receive kind of failed on me. So that's if you're able to transmit, even though it's a little bit low, there's a good chance that the relays might be worn out. And at least in the Collins situation, it was an open air relay, so they're able to physically push it down using a non-conductive material, which I don't recommend, but it's a way to test things. So yeah, that might be the issue. I have a Yaesu FT101, no letters, and I haven't gotten to it yet. Mine works, but it doesn't actually do lower sideband. So it'll be interesting if you figure out what the issue is with that one and 6AJ.
Okay, yeah, thanks for that suggestion. I didn't even, I've got less space than anybody being here in a mobile home, so I didn't even try to open the box and take a look inside. But interestingly built a legacy type of radio. Of course, it's got a couple of 6146s, and I loved tuning the Pi network, dipping the plate current and all that. It was really a great feel to be able to do that again. Over.
Yeah, a lot different than the modern radios with touch screens. This is feels like that feels like real radio. And yeah, I agree with Bill that those relays can be problematic. So yeah, that'd probably be one of the first things I'd look at. They used to have a tendency back in those days. Those relays would get dirty because they were open air relays, and they didn't get layer of and cigarette smoking and cigar smoking was very common back then, and they'd get a layer of cigarette tar between the contacts, and so the receive would when you're talking receive current from an antenna, you're talking very, very low levels, and so just even a thin film of tar on the relays would destroy your receive.
Okay, I copied everything you said, George, but I think you doubled with Bill. Yeah, there was not even white noise coming out of the speaker on receive, so something doesn't look good on the receive altogether. Okay, Bill, what was it that you were trying to say? Over.
Yeah, I was saying, when I have time, I could take a look if no one else, if you don't find anyone else to take a look at it. But I can't guarantee that it will come back in better shape than when you gave it to me. So, yeah, I could try my best. But if you don't find anyone to take a look, let me know. N6HA.
Well, that is certainly very kind of you, and I'll go ahead and pass that along to. He's a new member of the club and a brand new ham too. So, hate to, he was really. We were kind of discouraged when we found the condition was in when we plugged it in, but we were thankful nothing exploded in it. So, thanks very much. Anything else here before we close the nets? KP for MD.
You're braver than I am. I have a tendency of not liking to plug things in this old that I haven't looked inside of.
Oh yeah, I've had the experience of plugging something in and something strange happened and I opened up and there was an animal inside. Very good. George, do you have one of your sign-off pictures that you want to send, or shall we dispense of that?
No, I already sent a second picture tonight, so we'll go ahead and pass on that tonight.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and secure the net then. This is KP4MD. We want to thank everyone who participated in tonight's Slow Scan Television Net. We hope to see you again next Wednesday at 9 p.m. And by the way, this weekend is Pacificon convention over at the San Ramon Marriott. So going to be lots of stuff. Usually we have a fast scan television demonstration there as well, live on the site. So if you're in the San Ramon area, drop in and see you at Pacificon. This net is now officially closed, and the time right now is 10:02 p.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time still. This is Carol, Killer Pop 4 Mike Delta, wishing you all good evening and 73. We are now QRT.
Thank you for another great net, Carol, and 6YG. November 6 Hotel Alpha and 6YG. Are you still around?